The story of the Jewish people returning to the land of Israel should be the hero story of the entire world. No matter who you are or where you live, if you want to teach your children to believe in themselves and stay true to who they are, you should share the story of the Jewish people. Because just think of this, that in the year 70 CE, almost 2,000 years ago, an invading force came into the land of Israel and destroyed the holy temple in Jerusalem and forced many of the residents of this area into exile and enslaved them and built Roman cities throughout Europe with their manpower. But there was always pockets of Jews who were living here in the land of Israel from the Roman period and even afterwards, because for 2,000 years since that moment in the year 70 CE, the land of Israel, and understand this, grasp this, has not been independent under anyone. The land of Israel, what we call Israel today, has not been independent since the year 70 CE, when the Romans invaded the kingdom of Judea, the land of Israel, the Jewish kingdom, until 1948, when David Ben-Gurion sat in front of a crowd of 400 in Tel Aviv and was heard from radio stations around the world, not just to the Jewish people, but around the world, that we have returned and regained our independence, and that this land once again will be known as the land of Israel, the Jewish state of Israel, the home to the Jewish people. That is phenomenal, because for 2,000 years, this entire area was ruled by foreigners. Whether it was the Romans or the early Arab people ruling from Cairo or Damascus or Mecca or Medina, or whether it was later on during the Crusader period where Rome once again took over, or the late Arab period, whether it was the Mamelukes from Cairo, or whether it was the Turks ruling from Istanbul, or even later on during the British Mandate, all the time foreign empires controlling the land of Israel, Israel never once being independent for that entire stretch of time from the year 70 CE all the way up until 1948. And one of the things that these empires would do would be to shift populations, right? The only thing that stayed consistent here in the land of Israel was the fact that there was always for 2,000 years, always pockets of Jews living here, waiting for their brothers and sisters to return home to join them, so that once again we would be able to declare our independence here in our rightful land, in our ancestral land. That is unbelievable, because for 2,000 years, when many Jews, a majority of the Jews, were living in exile, they stayed true to who they were, and they kept their Jewish names. They kept their diets, right? They kept kosher. They kept their holidays. They kept the Sabbath. They kept Shabbat. They kept the holidays and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Sukkot and Shavuot and Passover. And they stayed true to who they were, and they never forgot. And they said, as long as we continue to be us, to be Jews, then one day justice will be done. That truth will overcome the lies, that good will defeat evil, and that we will be able to return home to our land, to the land of Israel. And that happened in 1948. So no matter who you are, if you're a Jew, you should have great pride in that fact, great pride in where you come from, a realization that you are standing on the shoulders of giants if you're still Jewish today, if your families haven't assimilated, that they suffered so many trials and tribulations and inquisitions and Holocaust and being pushed out from one city to the next, and anti-Semitism, which has existed for 2,000 years, that they said, no, we're going to hold on to who we are, because this is who we are, that this is who we were created as, and that we have something to share and something to give to the world. We have truth on our side. That's where you come from. If you're Jewish, that's where you come from. And that is awesome. That is amazing. Cherish that. Know that. And if you're not Jewish, share the Jewish story. Share it to your children. Stay true to who you are. Be real with yourself. Discover who you are. Discover your past. Know where you are today. Think about where you're going in the future. Because as long as you stay true, and you don't just, go blowing off into the wind, just going with the flow, man, it's all good. No, Stand tall. Go against the current if need be. When you know what is right, stay with it. Stay the course, because the Jewish people did it for 2,000 years, and something unprecedented happened, that after all of that time, they never forgot Jerusalem. They always sang Shana Haba B'Yushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. They never forgot the land of Israel. They never forgot their language. They never forgot their scripture. They never forgot who they were and where they came from. And there was always a desire that one day to be able to return to the land in which our ancestors, which we are from, to the land of Israel. And it happened. And it began in the middle of the 19th century with mass waves of Jews from around the world returning to the land of Israel, and finally gaining our independence in 1948. Thanks for watching, and if you want more great content like that, visit my Patreon site at patreon.com/David Sussman, where I have several episodes of my TV show, Land of the Bible, and videos like the one you just watched. During the coronavirus pandemic, I've made it free for everyone. Being that so many of us are stuck at home and homeschooling our children, I thought this would be helpful. However, if you can become a contributor, please do. This is the way that I'm supporting my family and myself during these difficult times. Thank you.